Hello, good evening, guys. Welcome back to JJ Sports Tour. I am your host, Mr. Jose Juan, and we're here live from White Wolf Studios in South Carolina. I brought a new partner along the way, Mr. Skeleton, and we're going to be talking about week 4 of football. Now, the first game started this past Sunday, was at 9:30. Man, I had to wake up early, but you know what? It was really worth it. 9:30 a.m. London game, Minnesota Vikings against the Saints. Final score 28 Vikings, 25 the Saints. It was a very competitive football game, although I did feel in the beginning that the Saints were actually going to get blown out. I was guessing wrong. You know why? Because the Saints played a really, really good game after the first half. Mr. Lutz, the kicker, actually got a 60-yarder to tie the game. It was a really, really good football game. Vikings got the ball back and were actually able to make a field goal after a Justin Jefferson catch. Afterwards, the Saints could have actually tied the game with another 60-point field goal, but it was a doink, double doink. Fortunately, the Saints were not able to tie the game, but it was a really competitive football. The stats are as follows. Justin Jefferson, a.k.a. Mr. Stud, 10 receptions, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. Kicker, Mr. Joseph, 5 out of 5 in field goals. Whoever has him in fantasy was cooking and eating well. Kirk Cousins, the quarterback, 273 yards, 1 touchdown. Mr. Dalton on the losing end was able to record 236 yards and 1 touchdown. And Latavius Murray was able to get a touchdown on the 1-yard zone. Now, the next game featured the Browns against the Falcons. Falcons 23 at home, Browns 20. It was a really, really good football game as well. Very competitive. Jacoby Brissett actually got an interception thrown at the end of the game, and they could not make a comeback. The game was back and forth, although the Falcons were actually winning most of the game. I'm just going to give you the stats. Not a lot what's going on, although very important, Cordell Patterson came down with an injury. He went to the IR this week. So Allgeier had 10 carries for 84 yards. So for your fantasy wires, that's a guy that you can add if you're lacking a good running back. One of the top ads this week. Mariota, the quarterback for Atlanta, 139 yards, 1 interception. Jacoby throw 134 yards, 1 interception. And Mr. Chubb, as I've been saying all week long, carrying fantasy owners across the league. He was eating, he was cooking. He was able to go for 19 carries, 118 yards, and 1 touchdown. Third game that we have here, in my opinion, the best game this week, featuring the Bills and the Ravens. 2 AFC contenders, playoff contenders. Bills have actually are Super Bowl contenders. The Ravens have been having a really good season. The Bills came out on top 23-20. The Ravens were actually owning the Bills throughout most of the game. The first half, the defense was doing a lot of good things. The Bills were struggling on third down most of the game. Although the second half, they came storming right back to take the game, take the lead, kick a field goal, which was the game-winning field goal. Lamar, only 144 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Keep in mind, he's been playing MVP caliber football throughout the season. This was by far his worst game. But give credit to the Bills defense. Jordan Poirier was able to get the interception as well. Timely one as well. Josh Allen was able to go 213 yards, 1 touchdown. Diggs, 4 receptions, 62 yards. And Dobbins had himself quite a great game with 13 carries for 41 yards. And one touchdown. To me, it was the best game. Bills came out on top in a much needed win after that fallout that they had in Hard Rock Stadium against the Miami Dolphins. Now we have the Commanders against the Cowboys. My Dallas Cowboys. Now, how about them Cowboys? 25, Commanders 10. Basically, it was all Cowboys. Cooper is doing Cooper-like things. Cooper Rush, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's been playing care. He's been taking care of the football, not making many turnovers, just playing clean, very clean football. My props to him. I like him. He's actually 4-0 as a starter right now with the Dallas Cowboys. He's doing very good things. CeeDee Lamb is stepping into the wide receiver 1 role. He's been playing out of his mind. The guy did 6 receptions, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. On the losing side for the Commanders, not a lot we can talk about. Wentz just a very bad game for the Washington Commanders. The Cowboys are looking strong. They're going to be facing the Rams next week. Let's see what happens in that game. We got news today that Dak may not be able to go. He's still having a little bit of trouble with his surgically repaired thumb. He's not been able to get the full grip, so let's see what happens. But probably he won't be playing, so fantasy owners, keep that in mind. Now, next on our list, wow, this was the highest scoring game of the year, featuring the Seahawks and the Lions. The Seahawks 48, the Lions 45. Now, we have to keep in mind, the Lions are actually the total offense. They've been scoring left and right, but they have been giving up the most points as well. They need to work on their defense. I've been saying I love the Lions. I love what they're doing on offense. As far as the Seahawks, Geno Smith continues to play really, really good football. He's playing clean, very clean football. He went off 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rashad Penny, for whoever has them and mained them, he went off. He cooked. 17 carries, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Goff is continuing doing his thing with 378 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jamal Williams, whoever picked him up out of waiver wires, that was the best waiver wire move, in my opinion, this week. He was cooking. 19 carries, 18 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And for tight end purposes, T.J. Hawkinson balled out without Mr. St. Clair. He actually went over with 8 receptions, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, keep in mind, tight ends have been very low in production this year. So that was a hell of a game that Hawkinson played. Now, the next game on our list is Chargers versus Texans. 34 Chargers, Texans 24. This game seemed like a big blowout. It really was a big blowout, but not in terms of score. Chargers were winning all game long. Justin Jefferson was able to do his thing. 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler has been having bad games throughout the season. He finally was able to show up and get some yardage. I'm going to go over that in just a second. He got 13 carries, 60 yards, and 1 touchdown. On the Houston side, let's talk about the positive. Davis Mills, second-year quarterback, still is playing. It's been playing pretty good. 246 yards, 2 touchdowns. Running back, Mr. Pierce, he's been going off. Nobody seems to stop him. The run game has been working for Houston, although they did not get the win. Pierce had 14 carries, 131 yards, and 1 touchdown. Next on our list, we have Titans and Colts. 3 receptions as well for Mr. King. Now, a couple of things that we have to keep in mind. First, a couple of games for the Titans, they were stuffing the box, and Henry wasn't able to do a whole lot. But now they've been mixing up the offense. Got to give props to the offensive coordinator. They've been calling more plays in the air for Derrick Henry, more blocks. And that's resulting in more touchdowns and more carries, and basically they can't stop him. Kudos to the coaching staff for the Tennessee Titans. Also, keep into consideration that this is a divisional rivalry, and the Colts defense, it's not that bad. Now, Matty Ice on the Colts side, on the losing end, he needs to take care of the football. He's been having almost, wow, what, 9 fumbles? So he needs to take care of the football. On to the next game. The Giants 20 and the Bears 12. Wow, the Giants are 3-1. The Giants played a really good football. Saquon Barkley is continuing to do his thing. Daniel Jones as well, even though that the Bears defense is pretty good. The Bears, well, Justin Fields is trying. I mean, second year. I think he'll be able to get going more in the future once they establish their identity on offense. Herbert, waiver wire, had a pretty good, decent game with David Montgomery out. The Giants continue winning. Gonna go over really quickly the stats. Justin Fields, just 174 yards, not a whole lot. Herbert had 19 carries for 71 yards. Daniel Jones had 71 yards, not a whole lot. It was a very painful game, in my opinion, to watch. The defenses, they did their thing, but congrats to the Giants. They continue winning. The first 3 teams for the NFC East are 3-0, and we'll get to the Philadelphia, which is the only undefeated team, and then we have the Commanders, which are 1-4 right now. They're 1-3, sorry. Now, the next game is the one that a lot of people were looking for. I got a little bit ahead of myself with the Jaguars and Eagles. Eagles undefeated, 29, Jaguars 21. Keep in mind Doug Peterson coming back to Philadelphia, coaching for the Jaguars. We have to remember he brought a Super Bowl, and the only Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. He actually got a standing ovation. Classy act by the Philadelphia fans. This game, actually, the Jaguars got up to a really fast start. I was actually watching it on the red zone, and I was thinking to myself that the Eagles were going to get blown out. But guess what? Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts, they did their thing. They started running the football and started playing really good defense. The second half for the Jaguars was a total disaster. Let me go over the stats real quick. Trevor Lawrence, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Christian Kirk had 2 receptions for 60 yards. And then on the winning end, Jalen Hurts, 204 yards, 1 interception. Mr. Miles Sanders, 27 yards, 27 carries, 134 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Mr. A.J. Brown, I've talked about him the last few weeks. He had a very good game with 5 receptions and 95 yards. Now, keep in mind, the Eagles are the only undefeated team at 4-0 remaining this season. And they've been playing really good football. I can't wait for my Dallas Cowboys to actually play them. Let's see what happens with that. Next on our list, it was actually the biggest surprise of the week. The Jets against the Steelers. The Jets on the road were actually able to get the win, 24-20. Now, keep in mind, the Steelers at home, they played pretty good. Now, Trubisky had a lot of chances as a quarterback for this game. Unfortunately, he played very mediocre and got benched for Kenny Pickett. Now, for Kenny Pickett, I'm going to say the stats real quick. He threw 120 yards, 3 interceptions. We have to keep in mind, 2 of the interceptions weren't actually his fault. We can account for 1, not the other 2. I think he's a young stud. He has a bright future ahead of him. I am very sorry for Trubisky. He had a lot of chances, but it seems like the Steelers are going to ride with the rookie quarterback. It's already been shown on the QB depth chart this morning that he is indeed the QB1 going forward. Now the Jets, man, we gotta talk about the Jets. They got Robert Saleh has been able to do wonders for this team. They were able to get 24. Zach Wilson came back. He came balling. Mr. Hall as well, the running back. He has 17 carries, 66 yards. I mean, I like this team a lot. The Jets are a resilient team. Their defense is really good. If they can figure out their offense and basically know what identity, find their identity, find their groove, this is a team that will soon be able to go to the playoffs after so many years of bad Jets team. Way to go, Jets. Next on our list, Arizona against the Panthers. The Cardinals 26, the Panthers 16. This game was actually a blowout. Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for the Panthers, got booed. Like boo. Tough situation for Baker Mayfield. Same thing happens in the Browns. The Cardinals, Marquise Browns has 6 receptions, 88 yards, and 1 touchdown. CMC, Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers, did his thing. He got 8 carries for 27 yards and then 9 receptions for 89 yards and 1 touchdown. That game, to be honest with you, I did not see a whole lot in the red zone. It was basically the Cardinals just stomping and doing and bullying the Panthers their way, even though they were on the road. Not much to talk about. The Cardinals are going to be feasting once they get all their pieces back. So congratulations. And Panthers, you guys need to figure it out. That whole Baker Mayfield situation is just about to get worse. Next game on our list is actually a very competitive game. This took a lot of people by surprise. The Patriots 24, the Green Bay Packers 27, keeping in mind that the Patriots were with a backup quarterback. Wow. The spread for betting was actually minus 9.5 for the Green Bay Packers. The Patriots covered that bet by a good margin, and this game actually went to overtime. The Packers were able to win it on a game-winning field goal. I got to give kudos to Bill Belichick and their offensive coordinator. They plan to just run the ball and pound the defense for the Green Bay Packers. They did exactly just that. Damien Harris was able to go off for 18 carries, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On the winning side, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, 251 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. As well as Aaron Jones, 16 carries, 110 yards. And Alan Lazard, keep an eye out on him for fantasy purposes. He's been steadily climbing his numbers throughout the weeks. 6 receptions for 116 yards. So a little bit of concern for the Green Bay Packers. They weren't able to stop the Patriots with a backup quarterback. But hey, a win's a win. You got to take what you're given and on to the next week. The Broncos and the Raiders. Now, this is a division rival game. The Broncos 23, the Raiders 32. The Raiders were in command most of the game. Now, keep in mind, this is the only NFL team that has not won a game. So they came out with a sense of urgency. And they actually played pretty well, pretty good football. The stats, we have to go with Carr. Not a whole lot, just 188 yards. Devontae Adams, nice receptions and 101 yards. The one who cooked was the running back, Josh Jacobs. He had a game of his life, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you had him in fantasy and you started him, way to go, because he feasted today. On the losing side, the Russell Wilson, they took another L. The Denver took another L. They're looking to bounce back next week. Not a whole lot the Broncos did right this game. Just too much Raiders and too much a sense of urgency. Congrats, Raiders Nation. You finally got your first win. Hoping you get a couple of more wins and follow on that momentum. For Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs and the Bucks. Chiefs 41, Bucks 31. This game, even though it was only a 10-point game, was an absolute blowout. Each time the Bucks scored, the Chiefs were just too much on offense. The Bucks defense was not able to get any type of stop whatsoever and stop Mahomes and company. Clyde Alexander had a great game. Mahomes had a great game. Tom Brady had himself a great game as well, but just too much offense for the Bucks defense. That's basically the story to this game. It was a fun football game on Sunday night. Let me just go over the stats really quickly. Mahomes, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Brady got 385-ish. 3 touchdowns, and then as I stated, Clyde, my main man, 19 carries, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. Mr. Travis Kelce continues to do his thing. The best tight end in the league and in fantasy purposes. He was able to cook with his 9 receptions, 92 yards, and 1 touchdown. Congratulations to the Chiefs. There was this play by Mahomes that absolutely was just stunning. We're going to have the clip over here. Mahomes doing Mahomes thing. Mahomes is the dirty man. Bad man. Now on to Monday Night Football. The last game for Week 4. The Rams against the 49ers. 49ers 24. The Rams 9 points. The 49ers just absolutely stomped the Los Angeles Rams at home. Deebo Samuels went off and he cooked. I left them on the bench. Gotta admit it. I left them on the bench, guys. And he was absolutely beasting and feasting. Deebo Samuel, 6 receptions, 115 yards, and 1 touchdown, including that big touchdown. Now, he criticized Jalen Ramsey, the cornerback, because he did not tackle him in the open field. True. Now, a couple of things about this game. 49ers are looked really good. They look basically unmatchable against the Rams. Jimmy G is 7-0 against the Rams. The Rams cannot beat the 49ers, and that's a proven fact. They got stumped. I believe and I think that the offensive coordinator needs to change the whole game plan when it comes to the offense. They're just targeting Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp had Cooper Kupp stats like last year. 14 receptions, 122 yards. But come on, they're not going to Allen Robinson. The tight end Higbee did get a couple of yards as well. Basically, it's just Cooper Kupp and Higbee. They need to change that around. They need to get some more people involved. Because let's face it, they're the defending champ, but they're not looking good right now. Now that's it, guys, for today and tonight. We will be making more content along the week. Remember, the MLB Major League Playoffs start divisional series and the wildcard rounds this Friday, October the 7th. Now, don't forget to subscribe, comment down below. If you want to make any type of collaboration with me, or you would like some type of help with video editing, 3D animations, or anything, don't forget, don't hesitate, please, to shoot us a message. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We're here live at White Wolf Studios. I hope everybody has a great week. Good evening. Sayonara. Adios, baby. Hasta la vista. Jose One out.